Hey guys, and holy shit, a Michael Jackson video. I just really wanted to talk about this. So, for those of you who have been here for a while, you know that I'm always right. But you also know that a couple of years ago, I made videos to multiple different, let's say, movies that involve Michael Jackson. One in particular is my video reviewing the Searching for Neverland documentary. And it's because of that I wanted to talk about this one that's upcoming. I don't know if this is actually it, like what it's going to be called, mirroring Michael Jackson. And if it's not, let's just close that and go straight to the important article, which is this right here. So, they did confirm a Michael Jackson biopic. People are asking, like, why do this at all when they've already done stuff, like Searching for Neverland. But I like to think that it's because Searching for Neverland was a pile of shit. I mean, let's put it simple. My review is not up right now because I'm on the new Matt's FTR page, as you know, and I did not re-upload that video because it's outdated. But the point is, I can give you a little summary for those of you who forgot or never saw it. Basically, I talked about how the documentary mostly just shows Michael acting insane, and then they fast forward to him dying, so the pacing was horrible. I talked about how it was all done from the bodyguard's perspective, which I didn't like. I talked about how Navi is the one playing Michael, so obviously it's going to suck based on that alone. And it's just not good. And I mean, even before it came out, I had multiple concerns. For example, doing a documentary on Michael Jackson is very hard because there's so many important points to his life, and you really can't fit that into a 2-hour movie, so you have to cut stuff out. I mean, that movie was just about the last few years of his life, and it took, well, the whole movie. Imagine a movie about his entire life. That is just not feasible unless, of course, it's done as like a trilogy or something. But if they do plan for this to be a one-off, they're going to have a really hard time actually doing that. That's my first and probably most important point, but let's just read the article. The rumors have been going around since 2017, which I didn't know about. I know I've been out of the community since 2014. I know. But throughout the years, people have always been sending me stuff, and I had no idea that this has been circulating since 2017. There was even an article from 2019. I honestly didn't know about this. I've been thinking about it myself, thinking about how it should be done and saying that I would like it to be done. I think I made a couple of videos on it over the years. I mentioned that there needs to be a version that's better than Searching for Neverland. Ever since I saw like the Elton John documentary, I wanted one for Michael, but I didn't know that there was like circulating rumors, but okay. And after Bohemian Rhapsody, the Queen's biopic, more rumors came up. A few days ago, the Hits Daily Double interviewed David Land, David Burns, and John Branca. I met John Branca, for those of you who don't know, from Zifrin Brittenham, about being the best entertainment and corporate attorneys. Well, kind of, not really. As the co-producer of MJ1, show in Vegas, and the MJ biopic and Broadway play we have in development, the work has been ongoing. I'm looking forward to once again putting Michael's music and the work done by the talented team of the producers, directors, choreographers, dancers, actors, and other creators involved in these productions in front of his fans and the public. So that brings up the first, well, not the first problem, but one of the problems. Who the fuck's gonna play him? Like, chances are they're gonna want Navi again and then fuck it up. But there's so many better options. Jeffrey Perez and like E. Casanova. I know E. Casanova has some allegations right now with pedophilia, but at the same time, those have not been confirmed. In fact, they've been like half debunked. But the point is, there are so many people like them who sound like Michael, can dance like Michael, can look like Michael, can sing like Michael, and Navi can't do any of those things. I mean, we need better choices here. Not to mention that if it's done throughout his whole life, we need multiple actors to portray him as a kid, as an adult, as black, as white. You know, there's so many different actors we require. Like, who can play him when he's black? I suppose technically it could actually be the same person. You just need makeup. Like, you can make E. Casanova look darker, make E. Casanova look in the middle for the bad era and then make E. Casanova look white. You could have one actor playing all three, but I don't think it'll work that well. The point is, they need to do some serious casting, and I don't think they're going to try because they didn't try with Searching for Neverland, and I think we all know that. The estate of MJ continues to develop projects that honor the life and music of, in the memorable words of Berry Gordy, the greatest entertainer who ever lived. Talk about MJ1 was delayed because of the pandemic. Same with the Broadway show that's actually coming out soon. They're confirming on working on the biopic. The estate have been denying such projects will be considered, but then when asked a few years later, they were aloof to the question. Knowing their poor choice of selecting Lynn Nottage to do the book for the MJ musical, fans can be worried about such biopic. Of course we can, because it hasn't worked in the past. Plus, even if it could work, I know that they will not be able to find solutions for casting as well as getting Michael's whole life into 2 hours. I think a trilogy is the best way to do it, and each movie takes a section of his life, but I don't think they're smart enough for that. Not to mention, MJ is maybe the most complex and changing artist that ever lived, and depicting his life without offending his fans or the black community or people suffering of vitiligo will be a challenge. There is that too. So first we got casting, then we've got doing his whole life in 2 hours, and now we got stupid people. MJ fans, especially when it's a combination of an MJ fan and an SJW, it's very easy to offend them. There's going to be all kinds of comments about him simply being black. We're going to have idiots saying things like, for example, if it is E. Casanova playing him, there'll be fans saying things like, E. Cas isn't black. Actually, he is black, right? Okay, well then when he's white, we'll be having people say, hey, E-Cas can't play him because he's white, or some bullshit like that. Oh wait, never mind, we don't care about white people, that's right. It's only bad if a white person plays a black person, but if a black person plays a white person, that's okay. Sorry, I haven't made a video in a while, so I've kind of forgotten the SJW logic. Regardless, the point is to be serious. The point is, with SJWs in this community, it's going to be very easy to offend people. And no matter what you do with Michael, there's always going to be people complaining, especially in this awful community, hence why I left. No matter how good you do, there will be people complaining. So good luck on that one, too. That's just for the casting of actors. Unfortunately, a biopic cannot and should not omit any aspects of his life, so it's going to be like a 10-hour movie, including the darkest times such as the allegations, dependency on painkillers, and his tragic death. Well, of course, those are major things. But you also gotta show everything good. We gotta show, his growth and his genius and how he learned to dance and sing and writing albums, Thriller. There's so many things that have to be put in there. And it almost makes you wonder, are they gonna include the really private things that not many people know about? For example, his love of art or his love of poetry. You know what I mean? Like, there's many things in there that I think should be, because even though they're not well known, that's actually the point. We want to teach people those super rare things about Michael that only diehard fans like me actually know about. Like, I think only like the top 1% of fans like me know about his love for things like poetry. So including that in the documentary would be a really cool thing to inform people about. But they might see it as, well, it's such a minor thing, let's not include it. But in a lot of ways, those minor things are actually the most important, and that's the reason why. But we don't know if they know that. But the estate have been sugarcoating the image of the King of Pop since 2009, showing him as the greatest artist that ever lived, because it's true, using mostly Thriller and Bad as imagery to remind the public. Yeah, I know. Using mostly Thriller and Bad, aka ignoring Dangerous 25. To remind the public of his greatness, being the king of music, dance, and videos, but also avoiding imagery post-Dangerous, ignoring that Michael Jackson was also a human being. He had vitiligo, he wrote and sang about the allegations in history, all this have been ignored. So why would they do the same to a biopic? And again, back to even some of my concerns. They might ignore certain things because they either think that it shouldn't be shown because it might ruin his memory, or because they think fans will complain about it. And I don't think that they should focus on fan complaints, because fans complain about everything, okay? Fans are so fucking horrible, they would even find a way to complain about Thriller. Trust me, they'll find a way. They will find a way. You may be, well, Matt, how can they? don't even bother with that question. They will find a way. So never mind if people complain about things like Invincible. Just do it. That's the whole point of these documentaries. I mean, for example, in the Elton John movie, we saw all of the negative points of Elton John's life. Because that's the whole point. It's about their life. So if you're not going to show everything, then don't show anything. I don't think this will be successful, but time will tell.